Link Click Season 2 came out last season, and for some reason, despite the fact that this show, by all rights, is a cinematic masterpiece that is in contention for Anime of the Year, no one is watching it. Well, in the West at least. In China, this show does insane numbers on Bilibili. They are eating so good over there. But here in the West, people are being straight up disrespectful. I mean, I know it's a Chinese anime, but that doesn't mean it can't go just as hard as these shows coming out from Japan. Like, I know weebs in general have no taste, but how on earth does the third season of Rent a Girlfriend have close to double the members on my anime list? Which I know is not a proper statistic, but it is proportional. Look, obviously I know why. Japan honestly could probably start selling Chizuru's farts at this point, but it's still an utter disgrace to see. So I'm here to put an end to it all, and speak straight facts about why Link Click Season 2 continues the series' legacy of being peak fiction. First of all, before we even start talking about the story, let's talk about the animation. Or should I say, out-of-body extraterrestrial visual experience. Because man, they did not need to go this hard. China really said to Japan, hold up, let Land Studio cook. And they served up an all-you-can-eat buffet. And people are praising JJK's animation? Are you kidding me? You're telling me some dookie doo-doo grasshopper fight with motion blur is better than some of the best hand-to-hand combat fight scenes the anime medium has ever seen? I do not think so. I mean, are you seeing this? This is incredible. This is peak. I'm already being tempted to rewatch the show after I finish filming this. Also, it is not just the nicely animated fight scenes that pop off. The animation across the board is incredibly good, with vibrant lighting and backgrounds that fit the tone of each scene so perfectly. In general, this is easily one of the most well-directed anime in a while, with each shot being framed to purposefully give such a cinematic feel that almost makes you feel like you're watching live action at times. The choice of perspective versus wide versus close-up is so intelligently made in every scene and with such variability in the framing. It truly is a joy to watch. Now, I just gotta say that thank goodness this show did not come out in Japan, because if so, chances are the director probably would have been forced to step down due to receiving too many death threats about the show not being anime enough and too serious. Thankfully, it seems that the Chinese fans seem to have quite a bit more sense when it comes to this than the Japanese counterparts. Nah, but all jokes aside, seriously, I can't state enough how incredibly well directed this show is. I mean, it feels like it has a voice and a message with so much passion put behind it, rather than just being a piece of content made to pull in massive amounts of dough. I mean, just look at the sound design and editing. Every soundtrack and sound effect is incorporated so effectively, it never sounds out of place or disrupts the tone or the pacing of each scene. The scene cuts, in general, are not done for convenience but always occur in sync with the soundtrack, giving the show a beautifully tense flow that sucks the viewer in and doesn't spit them out until it's the right time. So much attention to detail was involved in this that I really appreciate and will keep eating up as long as they keep serving. Man, the technical aspects of this show are just glorious. Also, the opening, straight peak. The ending is good too, but the opening, when he starts rapping, I start bopping, and I'm all in on each episode from then on. Jaws knocked it out of the park with this one. Straight fire. Also, I just love how the opening evolves throughout the show to reflect on the reveals within the narrative. They didn't need to do that, but they did, and I really appreciate that. Now, moving on, let's talk about the actual story and characters. Because if anime fans know one thing, it's that pretty visuals and nice soundtracks don't matter for nothing if the actual writing is doggy doo-doo Demon Slayer Season 3 level. Sure, they're nice, but I'd much rather have a great story with mid-animation than a mid-story with great animation. Now the writing, dare I say it, might be even better than Season 1. Now Season 1 was great, but because it's quite episodic, the writing in my opinion was not nearly as complex as Season 2, which slowly interweaves so many different narrative beats throughout, as well as weaving the plot threads from Season 1 that were already established. If there's one thing you can say about this show, they had a plan. Like, an actual story with ideas and setup, and hopefully, let's hope, an ending as well as a message in mind. I mean, it's so simple, but so many animes fail to do this, and so it's really just inspiring to see this. Again, the attention to detail on how certain characters and events are portrayed at first, and then later recontextualized, is done so well in subverting the audience's view without trampling on their intelligence, because they have set up so many clues along the way to point towards the final outcome. Not only do the final episodes recontextualize the first half of the season, but also parts of season 1, giving payoff for so many mysteries that have already been set up and laying the groundwork for season 3 perfectly. This also is done while still having an overarching story for the individual season, which is so difficult to do, and I cannot praise that aspect enough. I mean, it's just so gas, I don't know what else I need to say. If Christopher Nolan made an anime, this would be it. There are elements of Inception, The Prestige, and even Interstellar here, looking at the human condition through a very sci-fi fantasy lens. Speaking of the fantastical elements, I think it's officially time to say that next to Steins Gate, this is the best time travel anime, no question. Okay, apart from maybe one other, but I don't know if that exactly counts. But seriously, this show uses the concept so well in exploring the themes and narrative of the show in such a geniusly stylistic way. It never feels gimmicky, and each time time travel or another supernatural power is used, it has consequences that the characters feel and need to come to terms with. This is just great storytelling. Speaking of the characters, they're great. This season does a lot to shift focus from just the main trio, who have already been well established and developed, and instead focuses a lot more on the side characters and antagonists, and their personalities and motivations, while still never losing the grasp of the main characters and their personal arcs. Honestly, the character writing was so well executed and thorough, portraying some of the most haunting anime scenes I've seen in a while. There's just so much care put into crafting each and every individual that you can't help but feel invested and sympathetic to many of them while still seeing the horror of their actions. I mean, man, some of these scenes are just something else. I felt emotion in the first season, but this season was just a different level for me in terms of pulling me into the visceral and tragic lives of all these people. It was just so moving. Look, moving back to just a general focus, I have to say that, in my opinion, from both a plot, a character, as well as technical standpoint, episode 9 of this season was just terrific. One of the most incredible episodes of television I've had the pleasure of experiencing so far this year. Some of the most intricate framing, animating, writing, and sound design I've ever seen. Period. Freaking brilliant episode. I could talk about it for hours, honestly. But unfortunately, we don't have the time. But still, oh my gosh, it is so good. Just go watch this show for that episode. Incredible. Also, the ending to this season, that ending, like what? Look, I knew something was up, but that, perfect, masterful, impeccable, get me season 3 right now. Are you kidding me? Seriously. Well, time to cry while reading fan theories for the next 2 years. Look, watch then click. Peek, the goat, whatever you want to call it. Like and sub if you enjoyed, I'd really appreciate that, and comment down below your thoughts. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.